All right, so everyone should now have completed their essay or have a rough draft of what their essay looks like. And then now you should be working on making some final changes um, to your essay. So I'm giving you all this resource so that there is no confusion as to what is expected in the final product so that you can get the highest grade possible. So let's first start with the introduction paragraph. Yesterday, when you all wrote your essays, I told you that you don't have to spend too much time on the introduction paragraph. You just needed to give me your claim, your reason one, and your reason two, because that was not the focus of yesterday. But now that you have your complete essay, I want us to now focus on our introduction paragraph so that we can hook the reader. So, how will you hook your reader? So, we're looking at an exemplar essay for middle school, and this hook is basically going to make the reader want to see what the rest is about. So it says, ring, ring, the final bell rings, it's finally summer vacation. That's how they hook in the reader. Then they're going to introduce the topic, which should be no more than 2 sentences. Students that attend year-round schools don't get to enjoy a final bell. They will return to school after a few short weeks. Then they're going to state your claim, and this is going to give 3 logical reasons why. In this introduction paragraph exemplar, I'm giving you 3 reasons, but you'll only give me 2, which we talked about yesterday. So it says, I am against year-round schools. They have no positive effects on learning. It adds to cost and it disrupts summer vacation. I am against year-round schools. So I know that the prompt is saying, are you for or against year-round schools? All this up here is basically introducing the reader to what the essay is going to be about. But this is my claim to know what the essay writer stands on in terms of year-round schools. So they said they're against year-round schools because, and they gave me 3 reasons, which you're only giving me 2. At this time, you're going to use this resource that is inside of your essay folder to start writing your introduction paragraph. Now, pause the screen here to write your introduction paragraph. Okay, so now that you're done writing your introduction paragraph, we're going to move into our body paragraph. So here's an outline of what your body paragraph should look like. You should start with the topic sentence, and it needs to restate the prompt and give your first reason. Then you move into evidence, and you will introduce your example. It can be from a movie, a book, a historical, or current event. Do not use personal connections. So, for example, do not say, one time I saw a boy and he had a Confederate flag. This is not based off of your personal experience. So, be sure to start your sentence with a transitional phrase, such as to begin with, to illustrate, for example. And I gave you all a resource for transitional words as well. After you give your evidence from a movie or book, you're going to explain your evidence. You need to make sure that your evidence makes sense, because if you're talking about Confederate flags, you shouldn't say, for example, in the book To Kill a Mockingbird, there was a dog named Jim, because that has something to do with Confederate flags, right? So you want to make sure that you are using an example from a book, a historical or current event, or a movie that has to do with the Confederate flag. So let's go into explaining your evidence. After you give me your example, you're going to give me some context. So what was happening at this in this example, who, what, when, and where, and make sure that it connects and aligns to the writing prompt. Then you're going to analyze. You're going to explain why this evidence is important. So you can use the if-then approach, or as a result. So in the example of year-round schools, so and if they're saying they have no positive effects on learning, if that's my first paragraph, I can say, if year-round schools continue to happen in the United States, then students will not learn as much or be prepared for college. That would be my analysis. And then you'll summarize it. Therefore, and then you go into your concluding sentence. So you need to make sure that on your essay that you have utilized this resource before you ask for assistance or before you ask me to check it. Make sure that you are looking at this resource and you are utilizing it, so that way when I come to you, I am able to give quick feedback and I'm not literally rewriting your entire essay for you because you've already made those necessary edits. After you're done with that, you'll go into your conclusion paragraph, and here's an exemplar. So in your conclusion paragraph, you're not just going to write one sentence, it's going to actually be a paragraph. So you'll restate your claim. As you can see, year-round schooling isn't a helpful solution. Then you're going to give 2 to 3 sentences of the reason. Year-round schools show no improvement in learning. They also add to the cost of schooling as well as take away from long-awaited summer vacation. So this basically summarized what my 2 reasons were, or this person had 3. Then I'm going to give a call to action or closing statement. So this is a lesson that we learn from this. This is how it can help society or how it can hurt society. So here goes. If we change to year-round schools, then we would have many students leaving the district to go to a traditional scheduled school where they will be happier. So again, your conclusion should restate your claim, summarize your reasons, and give advice or possible solutions to this problem, or tell them what lesson can be learned from it. So here I know that if this happens, then students will leave the district. And so this is very persuasive because the person who's reading this essay is going to say, hey, we need to get rid of year-round schools. We don't want students to leave the district. So if you're saying that the Confederate flag should be protected under free speech, they're going to say, hey, we don't want to get rid of the Confederate flag. You want them to say, hey, we don't want to get rid of the Confederate flag. And then you need to tell them what will happen if you do get rid of the Confederate flag. Or if you say that the Confederate flag should not be protected under free speech, you want the person to say, hey, yeah, let's get rid of the Confederate flag in the United States. And you should be able to tell them what would happen if they don't get rid of the Confederate flag in the United States. So, Giants, use this to your advantage and make sure that you are using this resource while you are editing your essays before you ask for me to read anything, because it needs to look like this before I read it so that I can give you quick feedback, because I need to be able to try to make sure I get to as many people as possible.